All right, so this little demo will be the last part of getting DocuPanda using DocuPanda to redact a PDF. So in the previous video, you can check it out. We've already gone through the process of defining a schema that says we're looking for PII, for private, personally identifiable information, like account numbers, like names, like passwords, stuff like that. And we've already confirmed that DocuPanda is indeed able to find that PII in the document. And not only does it output, yes, there is a bank account number somewhere in the document, it also gives you a bounding box. And using DocuPanda's dashboard, you can see that we're able to overlay this bounding box on the original PDF. But again, we're trying to build an app now, right? Like we're trying to take that bounding box and overlay it on the document and basically redact it, right? We want to embed like a black bounding box on top of the sensitive part of our document. So let's do that. And I'm going to not use any of my knowledge of how DocuPanda API works, and instead try to hack it, right? Just build something from scratch without any prior knowledge. So the first thing we want to do, let me log out so you don't see my private key. So the first thing I want to do is look at our docs for retrieving the review result. So as said, we call the part where we find the locations of items review. So let's go and see, okay, we have a review ID. So let's do it like this. Okay, so we already have a piece of code that gives us the review results. And we can read all the docs like noobs, but let's just roll with it. So let's go into our little IDE. This is PyCharm for those unfamiliar. I know the cool kids prefer VS Code, but I'm gangster. Anyway, let's just start hacking away. So let's first name this guy something more pleasant than main. Let's call it redact PDF. And now I'm thinking we're going to have two functions here, right? One is oh yeah. So okay. By the way, if you're not familiar, I'm just starting to type, and already I have some nice little autocompletes. The reason for that is GitHub Copilot is amazing, and you should totally be using it if you're not using it already. Anyway, so we're going to have a function called redact PDF, and we'll think in a moment what it. Okay, let's think about it. So redact PDF will probably get a PDF, right? PDF file, which would be the contents of the PDF, not a path, and it would have redactions, which would probably be a list of. Let's define it, right? So redaction coordinates. Let's be more generic, right? Let's call it bounding box instead of redaction. It's going to be a list of bounding boxes. Sorry, class bounding box. If you're old school, you go like this. There you go. And this is actually correct guess. So the way DocuPanda formalizes a bounding box is, again, if you read the docs, X, Y, X, Y. So it's like upper left, lower right, right? So this is one of the many ways you could express a bounding box. It could also be X, Y, WH, but that's not our chosen format. Anyway, okay. So let's fix spelling. Bytes. Oh, there you go, bytes. Okay. So we probably want to have this is a function that we're going to implement it. We'll have a function that gets a PDF file content. Let's call it PDF content. And it returns another PDF content, right? Like the content of PDF that we've redacted. So that's one thing we want to do. And we probably want to have a nice little helper function that gets redactions from review ID and gives us the list of bounding boxes of redactions. So Yeah, we already have our code example here of how to do that. DocuPanda, by the way, if you can choose any language that you want. So, you know, if you prefer another language. Anyway, let's just implement this guy. And again, we're gonna roll with the punches, and instead of reading the docs too much, we'll just inspect the results we're getting and figure it out. Okay, so let's just move the imports all the way up. Let's put the actual review ID that we have here. And also let's hard code the path for my actual bank statement. So again, I'm looking at my PDF of my personal bank statement, so I'm not going to show it, but DocuPanda data. So under file path, we would just want to give the path to the actual bank statement, which is my personal bank statement, which corresponds to this review ID. And again, you can take a look at the other video linked below to see how we built this review ID. Anyway, we want to get the redactions and then probably open the file path. Oh yeah, there you go. GitHub Copilot understands the idea. So, you know, we're going to read the PDF, redact the PDF, and probably, yep, let's call it something else. Let's just, let's put it here in main, a file called redacted.pdf. Just you know, keep it simple. Okay, so we're gonna handle this in just a moment. Let's first see this part, right? And yeah, there's a million ways to write code. Do what sparks joy in your heart is what I say. Oh, okay. So, yeah. Why didn't it even stop here? I don't know. Didn't break here. Oh, yeah, of course. Classic. I didn't call main. So anyway, this is going to fail, I can already tell. And the reason it's going to fail is that I don't have my API key here. So let's write like demo key. See? We need to have an API key. And instead of demo key, of course, we need to actually read the actual API key, DocuPanda API key that we have. So for those unfamiliar, .env file is literally just a file that has something like DocuPanda API key, you know, whatever. So this exists under this .env file. In there, I've actually already put our DocuPanda API key. So, you know, I might as well have just hard-coded here my DocuPanda API key, which you can get from your dashboard, right? But I'm not gonna, because again, we wanna not hack ourselves. So, you know, you'll have to trust me that this loads up the API key. And let's check. Let me check that it actually does the thing. Let me only print the first, yep, the first 4 characters. And now let's actually use it. So this belongs here. Now I'm evaluating it in place. You know, I don't have to rerun the code every time. Response doesn't exist. Let me find. Invalid API key. Why would it be invalid? Oh. Right, let's just rerun it. Success. Okay. Great. So now that we have our response ready, let's get it as a JSON. Payload. And again, we're hipsters. We don't want to think too much. Let's just see what the results look like. Keys, I can't spell. Okay, so it looks like we have data. That looks good. Let's see what we have under data. Oh, PII. We're after PII. Let's see what we have here. Oh, it's a list. Okay, so let's take a look at one of them. So actually, let's iterate through this list, right? For PII payload in PII. Let's look at what this looks like. It has a value, a type, and occurrences. Okay, so a single PII presumably can have one value. Let's look at the first 4 letters again. I don't want to. Oops. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Let's look at the first 4 letters. You can already see it. Whatever. It's a number. Okay. So in this case, it's a number that our model judged to be a sensitive piece of information. I'm happy for you guys to see this number. It's fine. So we see that the value has value. It's kind of confusing, but a value has value, and it has a review payload. And review seemingly has the bounding boxes, but it looks like our specific schema has already a list of occurrences. So maybe a single let's just PII payload has occurrences as well, and occurrences is the list of all places where this PIA has appeared in. So we have the page and we have the text span. So, and now text span will have a value and a review. And so you see how it works? Like for every item, there's the value that we've observed, and there's the review, which is just like the bounding boxes, the location where we see this this actual concrete value show up. So let's only show the first 3 letters of ending in, right? Whatever. I'm not going to show the exact text span, but like something here is going to be sensitive PII. But we don't care about the value. What we want to see is, yep, where this occurrence occurred. Okay. So, for each occurrence in occurrences, let's take that occurrence's bounding box. And now, yeah, okay, let's just, you know what, let's just rerun and stop here on a breakpoint. You'll get the idea very quickly, I think. So, yep, we have x, y coordinates. By the way, there could potentially be multiple bounding boxes. Let's just pick the first one. It doesn't matter for our case. You know what, let's take all of them. Let's call it B boxes for B box in B boxes. This is just us unpacking because there could theoretically be multiple let's see that it works. Great, we have x, y, x, y. Now we can just redaction list. Oh, let's add some more properties here. Let's have also the page, and let's also add PII type. So maybe bounding box is no longer a great name. It's PII bounding box. Great. So page would be integer, PII type would be string. Page is 0 indexed. You can read the docs to see that that's true. Again, DocuPanda docs will specify that, and count number, etc. Okay. Great. So now all we have to do is add it to the redaction list. Yeah, looks good. Does occurrence have a page? Yeah, it does. Great. Let's get the page value. Oh no, we don't need that. We can just use the review. Hang on. Page. So the review object already contains a page, so we don't need to grab it from somewhere random. Yeah. And again, for the PI payload type, we want its actual value. There you go. So all told, we're going to go down this list. We're going to create a list of redactions with XY values, noting what page we found this redaction in and what type of PII we found. So that looks good to me. Let's return this list. Yep. So let's see. Great. We're in the spot we wanted to get to. So we have a list of redactions. For example, our first redaction is PI type, whatever, full name. And you'll find the bank account number here, you'll find all of them. And we just, now we have a new goal that has nothing to do with DocuPanda, right? We have a list of rectangles, we have a PDF, we wanna just burn a black rectangle on top of the PDF, wherever we see it. And we wanna make damn sure that we're actually redacting the coordinates and not just overlaying a black rectangle that anyone can delete after, right? Like, we don't want these redactions to be an annotation layer. We want to burn out the information. So here's my plan. I'm not gonna do any understanding here. I'm going to stick it into my new best friend, GPT-401, right? And yeah, all I'm gonna do is explain the task carefully to GPT. So please implement redact PDF. You want to always say please to GPT because they will be our new overlords. So, get in the habit of not talking down to them. Anyway, please implement redact PDF. And now, this is something that's still tricky because our overlords are still not quite that smart, which is you want to specify the task carefully, right? So our goal is not to just add a rectangle annotation layer on the PDF. We want to burn in the rectangles such that the original data underneath is permanently lost. And now let's actually tell it how to do that. The way we want to do that is to read each page as an image, burn in those black rectangles, and burning those black rectangles, and collect the images back into a redacted PDF, which is just a collection of images, of these modified images. Note, xy, y1, x1, y1, x2, y2 is given in fractional coordinates, i.e. 0.1 means 10% of page width or height. Yeah, so I think that's good enough. Let's just hit it and see what happens. Okay, so it thought for a bit and gave me a piece of code. And the thing to do when you get a piece of code from GPT is to mindlessly stick it back in and see what happens. So let's do that. What? Surely it didn't give me back a piece of code that does nothing. No, yeah, okay. Did I? Yeah, okay. I guess I didn't actually copy it. Let's just let it run, see what happens. So perfect. So I took a small peek at the results, and it got it off. It looks like the results are off by one page. So like all the rectangles are like correct, but not on the right page. So probably GPT didn't realize that our results are 0 indexed and not 1 indexed. And maybe, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Hang on. Yeah, maybe I misled poor GPT, and page is not 0 indexed. Let's make it 0 indexed. Let's see. Yep. So indeed, the problem was that I lied, right? So our results are in fact 1 indexed and not 0 indexed in the returned payload. So fixing it, and now the results are aligned. Okay. So looking at the results, ta-da! We get a smattering of black ink that would make Stalin proud. And we can be very sure that like we completely destroyed the text because we literally overlaid the results on the image. Yes, okay, great. So yes, so we actually read the PDF as a bunch of images, overlaid the rectangles on the image itself, and then generate PDF from processed images. So that's great. So, you know, we're doing the good and responsible thing and actually destroying information. So at this point, we have all the pieces are in place to create a product, right, that takes in a PDF, finds the things we care about, and overlays black ink wherever we find them. So hopefully this was useful to you. I hope you know, I find it's always interesting to see how other people get stuff done, especially fast, especially without like trying to pretend that they're smarter than they are, right? Just, you know, stick it to GPT and see how it fails and move on. So stay real and for the next episodes. Let me know if this was helpful, and definitely write any comments you have. What would you like to see more of, and what would, you know, which parts you find unnecessary, etc. And stay tuned for the next episodes.